What is going on YouTube or Instagram, Facebook, or whoever's on the other side of the screen watching this right now? Thank you for tuning in. My name is Blanchard, and I'm a wedding and portrait photographer and filmmaker from out of Newark, New Jersey, with some of my works also being in engagements, couples, maternities, and families. Usually at the beginning of the year, I make these videos on my Instagram where we kind of chop it up and talk about our plans for the new year. But if you check my Instagram, my last post was like, 3 months ago. And a lot has happened since, so I kind of wanted to talk about what happened in 2021, what I've learned, and my plans for 2022. Also, for those of you pressed for time, here are some timestamps and their topics. All right, enough of that intro, let's jump into it. 2021. Overall, as a wedding photographer and small business owner, me and my wife, we did pretty good our first year focused solely on weddings and shoots. Between me and my wife, Brittany, who's an awesome wedding planner and day of coordinator, we shot about 25 weddings, 7 engagement shoots, 4 maternity shoots, and 3 family shoots. Plus, we traveled to about 5 different states, with the farthest being Georgia. So after looking at these stats and some of the photos and video we were able to get, easily I'd say it was a successful year. But really, it wasn't. In the beginning of the year, things were all good, but towards the middle and end of the year, things really took a turn for the worst. I started with COVID, where I was really sick and lost my sense of taste for like 6 weeks. Then Brittany's grandmother was diagnosed with cancer. Then my appendix bursted and I was rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery. Soon after, Brittany and I were expecting, which was a really happy time for us, until our unborn son was diagnosed with some real complications. Then Hurricane Ida hit and we lost our car in the resulting flood, which is like crazy because at this point, just when things couldn't get worse, a flood in the middle of Newark, New Jersey. Then, when all else was said and done, we experienced the worst. Our son Matthew passed away at birth. And that's really when I kind of felt like I lost myself. I was really depressed and lost after such a rough year. It was worse after worse. Like, I've experienced some tough times, but really never like this. I still wanted to succeed as a wedding photographer and filmmaker, but I felt like I was failing as a person altogether. But if there's anything I've learned from life, and especially from last year, is that sometimes you go through the worst moments in your life to see the best version of your life come from that. Altogether, after such a tough year, there were 3 questions I asked myself to kind of help me focus in shaping this new year. 1, is this sustainable? Last year was a lot of work. Although it was fun and amazing, can I see myself doing this for the next 5 or 10 years? 2, am I happy? As a creative, am I creating work that I want to create, or am I just shooting this because it came my way? If I'm not intentional with my work, I can easily end up being overwhelmed. And 3, is this a good experience? I'm in a service-based industry because I work mainly in weddings and couples, so it's important that I make sure there's a good experience for clients. But is this also a good experience for me? So with that being said, I'm doing things a little differently in 2022. First things first.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
All right, video over. Thank you for watching. We're using top-of-the-line cinematic and mirrorless cameras, as well as classic DSLRs and prime lenses to achieve the best results possible for your photography and wedding films. This also includes lighting and audio so you look and sound great. We're also providing more services, more experience, and just general overall skill. There's also expenses like our gallery fees, editing software, insurance, and just overall fees that go unseen by our couples that help us provide our best work. Which brings us to our next point. Yesterday's quality is not today's quality. Before, I'd shoot a wedding or an engagement session and post it on Instagram 720p resolution and it'd look great. I'd get booked and I'd just repeat the cycle. But what if you watched it on a more robust platform, like a laptop or a television? Or more importantly, what if it's being watched 10 years later, or you're looking through an album 20 years later? How would it hold up? Our objective when we're shooting is not just to get a bomb shot for the portfolio, but more so to create a beautiful heirloom that you and your family are going to enjoy for generations. A timeless style that's truthful to who you are and not just what's trendy and popular. Therefore, we'd rather focus on quality than quantity. focusing on a simpler collection that has more value, more so than just making sure you get back a lot of footage or photos. That doesn't mean we're going to give you less photos or shorter film, but our works are going to focus more on story and how it makes you feel. Sometimes getting that beautiful styled shot is important, but also that off guard while you weren't looking just hits different, and it's part of your love story. Lastly, for 2022, I'm also taking care of me. Being a full-time wedding photographer is a dream come true. I get to do what I love for a living, and it's the best thing ever. Real talk. But being so booked and busy isn't all it's cracked up to be. Sure, it sounds great, shooting often and getting paid for it. Actually, it low-key kind of is, but it can be really overwhelming to give so much time to doing so much and not having enough time for each client we work with or for the things that also make us happy. So aside from shooting less weddings to give more of ourselves to each wedding, we're going to be working on some special projects. For example, this year we're going to be shooting more film at weddings, portraits, when we travel, and just personally on my own free time. I love the process of slowing down, taking a shot, getting it developed, and seeing how it comes out. Film absorbs light a little differently than digital, but the results are just out of this world. So I look forward to sharing that with you guys. I'd also love to get into teaching and sharing what I've learned over the years with all of you. I've been shooting for like the last 9 years, photography and filmmaking, so I've developed a unique approach to creating that not a lot of people get to see. A lot of the times I get asked questions from people looking to get into photography or veterans looking to complete a project. So maybe a couple workshops, guides, or even courses. I'd also love to create a few works outside of weddings. Now, wedding photography and video will always be what I do, 100%. But last year, I had the honor of working with some really talented creatives, which was pretty cool. So this year, I'd like to create some more and really explore some artistic ideas. And lastly, YouTube. Photography and filmmaking has been such an adventure for me. From the first day I went to B&H to buy my first camera as a hobby, at 21 to 10 years later, where I get to do it for a living. But most of my passion I've learned to develop and perfect through learning through other creatives on YouTube. So why not further my connection to a community that has done so much for me? Plus, I heard you get paid for real on that platform, and your boy all about that bag, but that's besides the point. Point is, overall this year is more than just creating. It's creating with intent and focus, as well as sharing and connecting. I've made some of the best connections in my life through my camera, including meeting my wife. And I really look forward to connecting more with you too. If this video resonated with you at all, please show some love. Like, share, subscribe, follow. Comment down below what you think you'd be interested in seeing on this channel. It helps me grow and make more videos. So, thanks for watching. This was a tough one to edit, but it was fun. And I'll see you in the next one.